All right, so there are 3 principles in life, 3 purpose principles. You gotta understand these to deeply understand yourself, and if you want to work with whatever you love, right? Whatever you're passionate about. I'm in nature today, so I gotta be a bit careful here where I walk. All right, so it's beautiful. All right, so there are 3 principles you got to work on and understand, deeply understand. Then there are 3 things you have to align. All right, 3 things you have to align. First, let's go through the 3 purpose principles of life. All right. Number 1 is working on yourself, or helping yourself, so to speak. All right, that's yourself. Self-development. Whoops. You see, I got the worst shoes on me right now. Like I got a couple of beautiful shoes, but they're the worst for walking here. But I look good. All right, so the first principle is working on yourself, because that's the foundation. Because without working on yourself, how are you supposed to help others in life? Be it family, friends, clients, and so forth. You gotta work on yourself, all right? You gotta work on yourself. All right, so the next is helping others. All right, so that's why, the first one is helping yourself, because so that you can help others. Because once you reach certain development in your life, you'll hit a wall. I call it the wall, self-wall or self-development wall, and so you will. All right, let's stay here a little bit. You will hit a wall because you've developed yourself thus far, and you want to move on to other areas of life. You've got the health down, basically. You got diet down. You got exercise down, and sleep. You sleep properly. You eat properly. You eat more clean. You found your diet, and your exercise, the exercise you love, the diet you love, all right, and you sleep greatly. I mean, you just love how you sleep, basically. You feel rested and, so forth. And so, once you've developed yourself, you start to want to share this, basically, and help others. In your experience, you want to share your experiences, your knowledge, your wisdom, and so forth. Well, it could be other things. I mean, it doesn't have to be self-development, obviously. It could be helping business owners, it could be helping people programming, it could be teaching, it could be anything, like playing instruments, teaching instruments. And so yeah, it's not about the sun here is like, all right, the camera doesn't work with me today. All right, the camera doesn't want to work with me today. All right, so you work on yourself. Doesn't want to follow me here. All right, so you work on yourself, then you work on yourself, then you want to work to help others, all right? Because once you've had the foundation, you feel fine, you feel like you can do more, you have deeper experiences, you're closer to your instincts, you want to help others with their instinct, and So the third principle would be teaching, or well, teaching. It would be working to help others through a medium. It's more advanced. It's basically expression. It's art, closer to art. But it can be teaching as well through a medium. It doesn't have to be in person. All right. As you can see, it's beautiful here. All right, so let's see if I can. So, once you understand this, I mean, once you work on yourself, you will naturally understand this. You will start to develop these thoughts, and it's the inevitable conclusion, basically. But you gotta work on 3 other things, which is, these are more theoretical, but these other 3 alignments are more practical. All right, so I'm basically walking here. I'm making that sound, basically. All right, well, people walking on the bridge. All right, so gotta be careful. All right, so once you've developed yourself, you help others through a medium. You understand this deeply. Now, 3 things to align, right? A strength or a skill, or it will be a skill, something you're good at, something you're passionate about. So that's number 2, actually, joy. You gotta have joy in the one you're, in the thing you're teaching or helping in, or it doesn't have to be teaching. No, it's just an example. So you use your strength, and then, it doesn't have to be a hobby. It can be doesn't have to be a hobby. It can be something you enjoy. All right, so that's number 2. It doesn't have to be something that doesn't exist. All right, it can be something that has a market. All right, so that's 3 alignments, 3 things to align. All right, strength, skill, joy in the process, joy overall when you make it, even in struggle. So even when you struggle, you still enjoy what you're doing. So let's say it's writing. I love writing, and even when I struggle in writing, I still love it. It still doesn't feel like work in some sense. That's why. So that's where passion comes in. It doesn't have to be a random hobby, like, you know, it doesn't have to be in surfing or something, or skating, or playing video games. Video games can be a hobby. I mean, there is a place for video games and so forth, but you gotta have discipline. So that's why I'm so against it in the other videos. It's just that it's gotten so ridiculous now. It's too much. All right, you gotta work more on yourself, and then small portions of entertainment here and there. I mean, life is, short. Can't just work, but I mean, obviously, when your work becomes your entertainment as well, when you have the joy in the process, that's in the number 2. It doesn't feel like you're working. So it doesn't feel like you're wasting. Well, you're both productive and in some sense entertained, because when you research, you love your research. Your research becomes your entertainment, basically, because that's how you nourish yourself intellectually. Or let's say you want to learn about business, or want to learn about more about things you don't know, like, so that comes in handy. And it's a good advice in general, like when doing dopamine fast as well, like learning something new you haven't learned before, right? it's such a nice place here, right? So it's a bit dark here now, but doesn't matter. You know what I look like, right? It's not about me. It's about the process. It's about life. It's about everything. Okay. All right. So those are 3 things to align and 3 things to understand. All right. But once you work on yourself, that's the number 1 foundation. Everything builds on that. So that's the core. That's your core. That's why scaling back. That's why asceticism. That's why minimalism is vital. All right. So it's still a part. That's part of the number 1 foundation, like the first core method, as I call it. That's the scaling back method. That's the foundation. Everything builds on this. The next would be, now I will mention my core methods, all right? I will make another video of this, but it relates to this a lot, because when you change yourself, you're working on yourself, you've implemented a couple of new habits, and then you start to work on your overall habits, patterns of life, right? So life is just a pattern, you know, just like the universe. In some sense, it is a metaphor that works pretty well. We're part of the universe, and yet we're very similar to the universe, and so forth. We're connected in a deep sense. All right, we know this. You know, we're made of atoms, and all of our atoms and quantum particles, like all the quanta. They're just patterns. Information is just information when we scale back, like the reduce to the basics, bare basics, you know, bare minimum, right? It's information, and information is just certain pattern, just like crystals have a certain pattern, and that's why we can form our lives. We can change our patterns. That's the beautiful thing about consciousness, conscious beings, is that we can change our, you know, that's where so-called free will comes in. Whether you believe in free will or not, it doesn't matter. Like in real life, like when we work on ourselves in reality, it doesn't matter if it exists philosophically. Even if it doesn't, we still have the illusion of, and the illusion is important, of change. All right, and that's why change is such a vital part of the core method. All right, that's why it's such a vital part in the deeper sense, in the philosophical sense. There is a reason for everything I'm speaking of. Just that it's supposed to, I mean, I will put it in a book one day, but it's just want to share it, you know. I just want to put it out there. If my ideas spread, that's great, you know. All right, so, well, they'll develop further, and also in a book they will be more technical, most likely more technical. But don't have to worry about the technical part, the theoretical part. That's just for those who are interested in intellectual stuff. That's why I boiled it down. My philosophy, I extracted the practical stuff out of it and boiled it down to 4 core methods. And those are the ones I wanted to mention. So scaling back is the first one. And since we're talking about change and patterns of life and everything, so that is habit creation. I call it habit creation, right? You create your new habit, your new life. You create your new life, all right? You create a new life for yourself, and in turn you will for everyone else, actually. So because you will affect others, you might improve them and so forth. They'll see that you've improved and so forth. It will rub off on others. right? So the practical stuff is the most important stuff. So the third core method is a lot of beautiful trees here. The fourth core method, the third core method, is idea generation. So here I will teach how to always generate ideas. This is something I've done for years, many years. All right, so this is like easy. It's like breathing for me. And idea generation. So you basically write down everything, all your thoughts. You plan out things, and you can organize your thoughts and so forth. And this is where your ideas come forth, and this is where your own philosophy should blossom. Everyone should have their own philosophy, actually, because every individual will be different, and that's the beauty of life. Everyone is different. Everyone is individualistic. You shouldn't be you should have your own river, so to speak. You should break off the mainstream and create your own river. That's how I see it. I have a poem about this, by the way, or an aphorism. I think it was an aphorism, actually. All right, so there's a bit of wind here. All right, so this is connected to 1 and 2 because you need ideas to realize yourself, and you need ideas to, you need to nourish your brain, because you need to desire more and perhaps better things, or better, so to speak. You will desire higher desires, and your desires will change, and that's fine, because that's growth, that's human. Everything that's human is not good, but everything that's human in the right way, we gotta channel everything in the right way, So that's what I will teach as well. Even anger and so forth. Everything can be channeled correctly, all right? There is nothing that should be suppressed, all right? Everything can be channeled and fixed if it's channeled correctly and so forth, all right? So, there is always a way, all right? Fasting has taught me that there is always a way, okay? And we're super strong and resilient as humans. We're not as fragile as people think, okay? And this fourth core method is, by the way, all of this will be taught in a course. I will teach this in a course soon. I'm almost finished. All right, so I gotta be careful here. My shoes are terrible, all right? My shoes are the worst for this. Okay, I gotta be super careful. Okay, so, opa. All right, so gotta be careful. It's so beautiful here. Okay, so the fourth core method is information absorption. All right, so it is what it sounds like you absorb information from good sources, from the primary sources and so forth. You read things you need that are necessary for you for growth and so forth. You don't read junk. You read the good stuff. You gotta know how to read. You gotta know how to filter stuff and so forth. So that's what I teach there. Okay, so it's obviously connected to number 3, the idea generation, but these two work together very closely. The same way scaling back and working on yourself and habit creation, like those two work together dynamically. And all 4 obviously work dynamically. They all go into each other like water molecules. All right, so if you have any problems with these things and you want help and guidance, you can reach me on email. Email is down below. If you like the video, you can comment, subscribe. You can ask me whatever you want, and that's relevant to the channel. And I'll have a 4 core method course out soon. and see you later, tomorrow.